Good morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you're doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's doing fine on this. What is it? What is today? Wednesday, Tuesday morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please, before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash a like. I am all unprepared today, but I am going to be prepared. Give me a second. There we go, guys. Great to have you back. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me today, of course. Guys, yeah, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Smash a like on the video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today, of course, everyone. Now, let's get straight into it, of course. Manchester United, Baleba. This thing is going to rumble on for a little while yet, guys, probably until the end of the window. Manchester United are preparing their first bid for Carlos Baleba, guys. It's their first bid for Carlos Baleba, and it will be an astronomical bid, probably one of the highest bids, opening bids that we've ever done. Now, obviously, Manchester United have been quoted in regards to being Brighton and Hove Albion have quoted that they put £112 million price tag on Baleba's head. Now, obviously, that is the starting price. We know that's the starting price. That will be negotiated down. It might not be negotiated down too much, obviously, as we know that Brighton are very, very stern when it comes to business and it comes to negotiations, etc. But Manchester United are looking to reduce the price of Carlos Baleba and to around 85 million, 75 to 85 million euros, guys. That might be too low. This will drag on. Hopefully, we get the deal done before the end of the transfer window, guys. Hopefully, we do. But, guys, thank you, everyone. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video, guys, before we start, of course. Now, look, guys, there is going to be a lot of rumblings going on. There's going to be a lot of rumors. There's going to be false information as well. The most important thing is that, you know what, we look at things objectively, subjectively, and try and find out, you know what, the real news, what's really going on. Of course, when Manchester United are about, you know, prices get overly exaggerated, people like to put their own prices on it, especially in the media, because they want to make out that Man United are just buying their way to success when we've never done that. Of course, other teams have, but we haven't. Now, the biggest question for me in regards to Carlos Baleba is are we going to spend the money on Carlos Baleba? Are we going to spend the money on him? And this is the most important thing for me, in my opinion. I feel, in my personal opinion, that we have to spend the money. If Brighton do not budge, if they're 100 million and nothing else, I still think that Man United spend the money. That's my opinion. I still feel that Man United need to spend the money and need to get this player in. This player is a generational player. He's worth it. We have to get this player. Carlos Baleba is the player that we need at this football club, of course. So we can't miss an opportunity. If we wait until next season, we all know what's going to happen, isn't it? He will have a great season. Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, and other clubs in Europe are going to be after his signature. So if we want him, we snooze, you lose in this game, guys. We have to buy him. And Manchester United are preparing an opening bid to Brighton and Hove Albion for Carlos Baleba. Now, what is that opening bid going to be? Who knows, guys? If the rumors are true that there is a £112 million price tag on Baleba's head, I mean, I can't see Man United offering any less than 100 million, probably around that much, because they're not going to go that low, Brighton and Hove Albion. They're not going to go lower than that. I mean, their price is 112 million. How low are they going to go? They're not going to go down to 70, because remember, initially, Man United wanted 70 million, wanted to offer 70 million for Baleba. That's not going to happen. They're not going to go down 40 million, absolutely not over 40 million for him. So I envision that Man United could quite possibly, if we squeeze things and negotiate things better, I think Man United can get a deal for about 85 million plus 10, 15 million in incentives, which takes the deal up to 100 million. Also, Manchester United will be doing this in installments. I doubt Man United will be paying up straight cash. Of course, Brighton and Hove Albion will want to have a big chunk of that cash initially. They will want to have the money in their hands to replace, obviously, Carlos Baleba as well. But Manchester United will look to do that deal. And this is what takes time when you're trying to do a structured deal, installment plan, etc., etc. This is the way we go forward. Of course, it all depends on Garnacho, Antony, Sancho, of course, and Rasmus Hjlund. that Man United need to make a little bit of money. If Man United can make some money from those transfers, this deal will be much easier to do, and there will be much more room to maneuver in regards to this. Now, Manchester United's FFP PSR was 250 million. Man United have gone well over 200 million expenditure, not including the Rashford. So we've probably gone down to about 190 something million in regards to FFP PSR. So Man United, if they sign Baleba, it's going to take it way over the 250 million mark, isn't it? So what we have to do is that we have to sell a couple of players, get a couple of players out, and hopefully that will be enough to bring in Carlos Baleba, which I feel it will, especially if we get rid of the likes of Garnacho. Now, speaking of Garnacho, guys, Chelsea have put in a £30 million offer for Garnacho, which is 20 million short of what Manchester United are after. Apparently, Chelsea put in a £30 million offer with 10 million in incentives or 8 million incentives, around that much. And that is not enough for Manchester United. And I absolutely agree with that. Alejandro Garnacho, whatever you think about him, whatever he's done, all the controversies and stuff like that, for me, what I would say is that he's still worth 60 million. He's still worth 60 million for me. Look, whether you offer that 50 million plus 10 million in incentives, I mean, I don't mind that, but he's not worth 30 million. When you're getting Tyler Diblin, a championship player, guys, a championship player for literally, 45 million. Right, how are we gonna value Garnacho at 30 million? It just doesn't make sense. It's ridiculous, of course. Yes, Garnacho, his reputation has gone somewhat down. If we're being honest, guys, his reputation has gone somewhat down the drain. We know that. But what we have to admit is that he's still worth 60 million for me at any day of the week. Puskas winner, top 5 player in the world, of course. And I'll always repeat that because we seem to undervalue our own players. That's what we do. We undervalue our own players. And for me, that's not what we should be doing. He's worth a lot more than that. They'll be laughing all the way to the bank, Chelsea, if they bought him for that amount of money. Of course, he's young. He's a young player, 21, 22, isn't he? My goodness me, he's a young player, for goodness sake, and he's got loads of room for improvement. And yes, his attitude is a problem. And it does come into account of a lot of things, of course. And you know what? Going to Chelsea for him, it's like, it won't be a slap in the face to Man United, because at the end of the day, you know what? We got him at the football club, and the toxic nature has gone from the football club. It is a number of things in regards to, the way he's been acting, the likes on the tweets, and those messages that he's been sending out, namely a quote yesterday saying that I either sign for Chelsea or I will be in the reserves for 1 or 2 years. So basically saying Chelsea or nothing. That is what Garnacho is saying right now. He either wants to go to Chelsea or he's going and nowhere. Absolutely. And that basically is trying to, a little dig at Man United, in my opinion, a sly little dig at Man United. But it is what it is, guys. We can't fix these people at the end of the day. Attitude is everything. And let him rot in the reserves. Let him go in the reserves. Let him do it. All right, you want to go in the reserves for a couple of years? Be my guest, go in the reserves for a couple of years. Of course, that's not ideal for Man United because obviously it reduces the price, it reduces the valuation of the player, share price goes down, etc., etc. But if he wants to sit in the reserves, let him sit in the reserves. Man United have got bigger fish to fry right now. Man United are trying to bring in Baleba. We're trying to fix our team. We're trying to challenge for the league. That's basically what we're trying to do. If we sign a Baleba and we sign a goalkeeper, we are challenging, guys. Let me tell you that right now. Or we should be challenging because the majority of that team, the spine of that team will be very, very good. World class, I would say, in my opinion. When we look at that spine of that team, Donnarumma, Baleba, Mbumo, Cunha, and Sesko, that's a world-class spine. So Baleba's very, very important, but also the Garnacho Sal is very, very important. The thing I like about Antony is Antony hasn't spoken a word over this last, few weeks, month. He hasn't spoken a word. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't said nothing about, going there. I want to go there. I'm only going to play for this person. I'm only going to play for that person. He hasn't said anything. And I applaud Antony in regards to that. I really do applaud him for that. And Look, Antony is gone a little bit quiet. It's gone a little bit stout. Again, Antony only wants one move, though, doesn't he? He wants the Real Betis move. He wants the Real Betis move. That's what Antony wants. Unfortunately, you can't get what you want in life all the time, and you have to look at things in regards to your own career. Of course, Antony will be looking to get into the World Cup squad as well. He'll be looking to get into the World Cup squad, so he cannot jeopardize his position. And that is exactly the same situation with Garnacho. He cannot jeopardize his position. He cannot jeopardize his future in the Argentinian national squad. He needs to get in that squad. Time is ticking, Garnacho. He needs to find a team and he needs to play first-team football. That's what he needs to do. Because if he rots in the reserves at Manchester United, he's not going to get in that Argentina national side. Absolutely not, guys. Big up everyone who's joining me today. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the stream, of course, guys. Big up everyone who's joining me. Big up Dembo. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. Once out, if we can pull these two signings off, then it's 10 out of 10 players in. I would say 8.5, Dembo. I'm not going to overjump. 8.59. And the reason I say that, Dembo, is because we're late. We're late. And one of the most important things in a transfer window is to get the players in time for the first game of the season. And we haven't even got them in time for the second game of the season, and that's what I would say. 8.59, very good window. That's still a very good window. 10 out of 10 is a right wing back. We need a right wing back desperately, and also getting it done in time, and also maybe fixing one or two squad players, because we do need some squad players as well. Big up Dembo, my friend. Big up yourself. Big up everyone. A lot of money, 250 grand a week. Yeah, a lot of money, but he is the best goalkeeper in the world, and that's what you pay for, fan. He's the best goalkeeper in the world, and you won't. It's ridiculous to suggest anything. We'll get Baleba first. The goalkeeper situation is going to be tricky, absolutely, because if Donnarumma comes in, Onana has to leave, and this is what I've been saying for the last couple of weeks. Onana has to leave, and Onana can easily dig his heels in and say, "I don't want to leave the club," isn't it, Kenny? He could easily say that. I say, why should I leave the football club? I don't want to leave the football club, and that could possibly happen. And what I would say is that, that is probably going to be one of the most difficult things to do is getting Onana out the door. Onana will not sit on the bench. He's a number one. And obviously INEOS won't want him to sit on the bench either, because they don't think it's makes business sense to keep two number ones, isn't it, at the end of the day? So I would say that, we have to get rid of Onana if we get Donnarumma. If we get a Senny Lamens, however, Man United will be able to keep Onana and keep Senny Lamens, because Senny Lamens is a young keeper and he can be groomed into being the number one rather than, has to be the number one right now. And he could slowly drift out Onana out of the team, of course. Absolutely. Big up everyone. Ephraim. Good morning, Sal. What do you think of Garnacho comment? I just mentioned it. What I think of the Garnacho comment, Ephraim, is that, you're going to rot in the reserves, mate. And if you want to rot in the reserves, mate, we can call your bluff all you want. You're going to rot in the reserves and you're going to miss your chance to play in the World Cup with Argentina. Might be your last chance, mate, to play in the World Cup with Argentina, at the end of the day. And we have to be realistic here. You stay in the reserves at Man United, you're going to ruin your career. At the end of the day, what has made you who you are, where you live, the money you have, the comfortable life you live right now is because of Manchester United, and it's because of football. Now, if you disrespect football and you turn your back on football, then you know what? You're not worth it, mate. You're not worth it, because at the end of the day, there's people who will die for your opportunity to play football at the end of the day. So look, go to a football club that bids for you, that is bid enough for you. Don't just wait for a football team to bid for you, because if you were worth it, they will pay it for you. Now, I think he's worth 50. And if Chelsea don't come out of 50, Chelsea are preparing another bid, by the way. But if Chelsea don't come out with 50 million, and then we can't just willy-nilly just accept it. We can't just accept it. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. It'd be absolutely brainless. Good morning, brother. How you doing, my friend? PJ, hope you're well. We need to some money, a price for leaving till last minute. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Big up, VJ. Hope you're doing well. Of course. Good morning, Sanjay. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again. It's obvious we had no plans. Plans are panicking. It's obvious we had no plans are panicking. I'm not sure what you mean there. What do you mean, VJ? Rephrase that. I'm not sure. Sorry, mate. Morning, Sal. Garnacho goes finally. Garnacho's going to go, but one thing is that it depends on Chelsea. It depends on Chelsea if they're going to make the right money for Man United. Man United are not going to accept 30 million for Garnacho. That's absolute daylight robbery. That is absolute serial robbery. That's ridiculous. Offering 30 million for a player like Garnacho. My goodness me, ridiculous. And Garnacho, for me, 50 million or nothing. And that is what I say. 50 million and incentives or nothing. Because look, 30 million, just put them in the reserves. Put them in the reserves and say, look, you go in the reserves and that's about it. Look, because look how much Chelsea charged us for Mason Mount. 50 plus million for Mason Mount, an injury-prone Mason Mount. And then they want to pay only 30 million for Mr. Garnacho. They couldn't even pay for their brother, Sancho, could they? They couldn't do that, could they? Apparently, Sancho is at his home. He's so relaxed here. Big up Sancho. But when it comes to the Skrilla, when it comes to the money, just like Borussia Dortmund, they don't want to pay up. They go hiding. They go missing and stuff like that, isn't it, guys? Absolutely. Ephraim, Sal, do you think Baleba is worth that much money? Look, I don't think any player is worth that much money. But what I would say is that it is what it is. It is what it is at the end of the day. If Man United want to progress, if Man United want to be serious in the Premier League, they're going to have to purchase players like that. Look, many people would have said to Liverpool that Florian Wirtz is not worth 150 odd million euros, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people would have said that, but they made the move. They have to make the move because if you want to get the best, you have to pay for the best. And unfortunately, these days, as my guy said in the stream yesterday, it is the cost of living, basically inflation. So basically, you're looking at Baleba, and it would be the equivalent in the 90s of about a 30, 40 million pound player. And that is what it is. That is inflation, and that is how much he is worth. And we have to take the realism out from where we are and say that our midfielder is an absolute shambles, and we have to bring in a player like Baleba to completely change the dynamic of our play. It is going to hurt a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of hate. There probably will be hate in the stream today. But that's just life, isn't it? At the end of the day, we can't please everyone. We just have to do what's best for Manchester United. Forget about the price. Leave the price out. Forget about it. At the end of the day, at least we can look at INEOS and we can look at Manchester United and say, at least they're spending the money on the football pitch and not just concentrating what's going on off the football pitch. And that is all we want at the end of the day. Because once we start getting success on this football pitch, people are not going to think about INEOS. People are not going to think about the ownership. They're going to think about, yes, we're the best team in the world. And that was the case when we, in 2008, 2013, 2007, all these years that we're winning titles under the Glazers, by the way, that, we weren't really talking about them because we were winning anyway, weren't we, at the end of the day? Big up Ephraim. Charlie, good morning. Amas on loan to Sheffield Wednesday. Yes, that has been going on for the last week or so. Look, I'm a big fan of Harry Amas. I think he's a fantastic player, but where we have to look at things in regards to the positions on the pitch, we have a lot of left backs. Funny enough, we have a lot of left backs. There was a time when we had no left backs. We got Luke Shaw, Tyrone Malacia, Diego Leon, of course, in this football team at the moment, who can play left back. Dalot can also play left back sometimes as well. But what I would say is that, we need Luke Shaw. We need to move them on. We need to move one on at least because we can't have that many left backs at this football club, guys. As much as we need, a squad, we need more right backs than left backs. So Amas going out of the club, going out of the team, going on loan to Sheffield Wednesday will be very good for his career. We'll strengthen him. We'll get his ability, get his experience going on. Competitive football would be good. I would have loved him to stay in the Premier League. Unfortunately, a lot of our young players go to the Championship. And depending what happens with Chido Obi Martin, I would also say Chido Obi Martin should do a loan as well. Does look a little bit like Bambi on ice. He's not the finished product. He's got a lot of ability, a lot of potential, but I don't think he's quite there yet. Obviously, he needs games. Of course, he hasn't played hardly any games, but he has got the ability. We saw that in the Hong Kong game, didn't we? When he done that little turn on the sixpence and buried it in the corner, of course, absolutely. Big up, Koke. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Big up, Kenny. Exactly, Sal, seize the opportunity and no matter what the cost. Seize the opportunity, worry about the cost later. This is what you do. Man United could rekindle that cost. Man United could do a sponsorship with someone. You know what Man United are like commercially, commercial club and all that. Man United are good at doing sponsorships. We could do sponsorships on training kits. We could do sponsorships on our shampoo. We could do sponsorships on our boots. We could do sponsorships on our seats. We could do that. That could happen. Man United can make money. Also, Man United can sell players. Man United can loan players. Man United can make money. Now, in regards to Rasmus Hjlund, of course, rumours about Rasmus Hjlund accepting to go to AC Milan. Rather reluctantly, though, of course, initially he didn't want to go to AC Milan. AC Milan have offered a €4 million a loan fee with an obligation to buy of 39 million. Man United are holding out for €6 million fee with a 40 million obligation to buy. Now, as we know with obligations to buys, it is not the gospel. It's not the gospel. When it comes to the end of the loan, then we know that probably more times than not, unless Rasmus Hjlund goes to Italy and bags 30 goals, 25, 30 goals, they're going to bring him back. They're going to send him back and pay a little fee. I mean, I hope not. I mean, that only happens to Man United, isn't it? We got the little bit of PTSD with the loan deals and obligations and stuff. We've lost trust in obligations to buy and stuff like that, haven't we? But when we look at, obviously, Rasmus Hjlund, love the lad. Think he's a great lad. Think he's a great professional, great person. And guys, look, I think it would be good for his career to go to AC Milan. It'd be good because, you know what, a fantastic football club, one of the biggest football clubs in history, one of the historical football clubs is AC Milan. Go to AC Milan, bag a few goals, mate, come back to Man United. That's what you can do, mate. You can do that if you want. But at the moment, I just don't think it is in his best interest to stay at Man United, playing second fiddle to Benjamin Sesko. And obviously, his time will be limited, given the World Cup is at the end of the year, of course. Absolutely. Ephraim. Sal, do you think we will sign Donnarumma? Look, at the end of the day, what I would say to you, Ephraim, I think it's unlikely if Man United sign Baleba. And that Baleba deal will drag on, by the way. It's going to drag on until the end of the window, I personally feel. I think we will hear news by the end of the week. There will be some news by the end of the week. But obviously, the price tag that Brighton have slapped on Baleba's head obviously slows things down significantly because, I mean, obviously, we would have gasped at that. We would have gasped and said, wow, how much? Wow, that is what probably INEOS would have done, you know. And Man United, obviously, it's going to take time. Not only that, obviously the structured deal, the payment plan and stuff like that is also going to take time. I'm not saying it's in the realms of impossibility. Obviously, Donnarumma was left out of the PSG squad for the Super League game against Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow. And he has been known to be very upset about that. Of course he would be. Now, why was he left out? What is going on with Donnarumma? Donnarumma was fantastic last season. Big hand in him winning the Champions League, of course. And you know what? Maybe there's something going on there behind the scenes that we don't know about. Maybe he's fell out with someone. We don't know. These things happen in football at the end of the day, don't they? Players fall out with people and stuff. And, you know, they want to move them on quickly and stuff. But Donnarumma is a fantastic player. Already a serial winner, guys. Won the European Championships with Italy. Basically, single-handedly won the penalty shootout, of course. And also, you know, won the Champions League last season and was a big part to play in that. And when you look at Donnarumma, you look at a man who airs confidence. He breathes confidence. You can see it straight away. I can imagine the defenders playing in front of Donnarumma feeling very, very confident as opposed to playing in front of Onana and feeling nervous and indecisive, etc. But that is an important area of the pitch, I have to say. The goalkeeper is an important area of the pitch. But obviously, it does the Baleba deal and a lot of sales have to happen. Not a lot of sales, but a couple of sales have to be made. Garnacho, Antony, Sancho, Rasmus maybe have to be made. Great, we got Rashford off the books at the moment. He might be back next season. I don't think that Barcelona are going to purchase Rashford, in my opinion. But look, at least we got him out the door at the moment for the time being, even if it is temporary. But we need to do the same as Sancho, Antony, and Garnacho, and maybe Rasmus as well. And then probably we can buy the goalkeeper and Baleba, guys. And then, only then, I would say that will be like a 8.59 out of 10. Because right now, we got 3 players in only. Let's look at things for what they are right now. Let's look at the straight facts, guys. Let's look at the straight facts. 3 players in only at the moment. Big up, Paul. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. Good to see you, of course. Big up, Christian. What's going on, my friend? I'll be doing. I'm warning, guys, with the African Cup of Nations coming up, we need a goalkeeper. If Onana is still our number 1, absolutely, Christian. Not only that, you remind me, obviously, we got Ahmad, we got Mazarui, we're going to have Mbumo as well, African nations, of course. Kone, of course, is going to go to the African nations, of course, guys. You know, we're going to miss quite a few players on the African nations. We have to remember that. And this is why Manchester United needed a squad. This is why we need a squad, because when the African nations comes, and I'm not absolutely discounting the African nations, so if it is a very important tournament, guys, and it is good for people to play for their countries, very, very important. But this is a very, very big thing for Manchester United, and this is going to most likely hurt us. It will hurt other teams as well, of course. But we do have quite a large African contingent at Manchester United at the moment, and if the African nations comes, and you know what, we're missing 6 players, then it's going to be a problem, isn't it? But, and we don't have a squad, of course. That is a big thing, of course. But we'll have to wait and see what happens in it until the end of the window. Okay. Let's sell, get Baleba and work on this deal. Project Friend 28. Big up, Coco. Hopefully we get him. Dembo, we haven't spent all the money up front. Mboma is free payment. Yes, we haven't spent the money up front, but it still goes on the FFP, Dembo and stuff. EC, big up, Sal. I just don't understand how Garnacho got away with his antics at United. It really makes me question the locker room leadership. Absolutely. It is. I'm very. Look, what I would say is that I'm very disappointed in Garnacho, the way he's been acting, the way he's been talking, the way he's been liking tweets and things like that. I'm disappointed in him, because I believed in him, and a lot of people did at the end. They believe in Garnacho, and it is sad the way that things have gone. I would say, and it's just time. Sometimes things just don't move on. Sometimes things just don't work out. What I would say is that sometimes things don't just work out, and we wish him the best, of course, absolutely. By the way, Dembo has a point, by the way. I want to say this, sorry. Guys, when you pay things in installments, it's exactly what Chelsea are doing. It doesn't go on the FFP and PSR. It is a good way to do it. But Man United are looking to spend around 250 million net. That is what we're doing at the moment. We still want to comply with the expenditure overall. And that's what Man United are looking to do. That's the plan that they're doing, even though it's not going to affect our FFP too much. But there are actually extra incentives that they put on FFP when you do loan deals as well. There are actually little things that they, little punishments, I would say, that they put on that as well. Randy, good morning. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Big up, Pearl. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you again. FM, Chelsea are taking the piss. Absolutely. They're treating Garnacho like he's a bloody championship player. Not even a championship player. They're treating him like a good League One player. You know what I mean? AC, big up AC. I heard that Sancho has his heart set on Dortmund and they plan to drag it out until the last day so Dortmund gets him for cheap. Now, guys, Dortmund are an absolute scumbag of a team. And I'll tell you why Dortmund are a scumbag of a team. Because Borussia Dortmund love to bring in the money. They love to overcharge on their players, i.e. Kagawa and Mkhitaryan and players like that. They love to overcharge on their players. But when it comes to buying players, they're like, I got to no money. Their pockets are out. I got to no money. Sorry, I got to no money. I don't know what to do. I got to no money. And that's what it is, and I would say. And they're an absolute scumbag, shameless team. Dortmund are a shameless football team. I'm telling you, Borussia Dortmund, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Absolutely. Forget the yellow. You're in the black because you got no money. Absolutely. And that is what it is, bloody Borussia Dortmund. Absolute scumbag of a team. Every time that it's time to spend money, it's time to bring in your family member, Jadon Sancho. We got no money. It's a bit like me being in a cage and I need to be bailed out of prison. And I tell my mum and dad, please, can you bail me out of prison? They go, oh, you know what? We ain't got the money at the moment. Sorry, mate. Sorry, son, should I say, not mate, hopefully. But what I would say is that, look, you know what? They're an absolute scumbag of a team, of course. Randy. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Randy. Hope you're well. Big up everyone who's joining me today. Of course, Pearl. Pearl never rated Garner for all of his off-pitch behaviour, which month by month since I took notice of simply gets worse. Look, I rated him as a footballer, and I'm going to look at the player as a footballer. I think he's not reached his potential. I think he's an absolute great player. But once you lose that attitude, once you get sort of ahead of yourself, get a little bit egotistical, you know what? You're not going to improve. You're not going to improve because you've already feel that you made it. In his head, he's already Cristiano Ronaldo. In his ability, he's David Bellion at the moment. And this is the thing. When we look at Garnacho, right? That's no disrespect for David Bellion. He was a professional. Very good one. And what I would say about Garnacho is that, he hasn't progressed as a footballer. He hasn't got better. I would say he hasn't got better as a footballer. He's actually declined. Just like Rashford, in my opinion, declined. I think that Garnacho has declined. I think he's regressed. And I think a lot of that is down to him. And he has to take accountability for that. He does. He has to take accountability for his actions. Absolutely, yeah. And sorry, Garnacho, but that is just the way I feel about it. I was very excited about Garnacho when he broke through the ranks. I remember him in the youth team, of course, banging in goals and stuff. And I thought he was going to be the next big player at Man United coming through. He almost was. In the first season, it was fantastic when he was... That goal against Everton, guys. That goal against Everton, the scissor kick, was absolutely incredible, wasn't it? And you know what? That shows his ability. But unfortunately, attitude is everything. H. Ngui, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. He wants it to warm the Chelsea bench because he is not getting in that first 11, Chelsea, to be honest. I don't know, Ngui. I don't know. They obviously rate him very highly. Obviously, Chelsea have sold Madueke to Arsenal, of course, for 52 million, by the way, achieved much less than Garnacho has. Look, what I would say to you, my friend, is that Garnacho is a good player, but at the moment, you know, his attitude, it stinks. And whilst your attitude stinks, that is when you're going to start, you know what I'm saying is you're going to decline as a player because you need to have a top-notch attitude. Even Eric Cantona, Cristiano Ronaldo, David Beckham used to stay behind to train and train and train without telling anyone, without broadcasting it all over the world. They would train and train and train to improve even though they were world-class players. Garnacho is completely the opposite. He would train and train and train to make him less likable. That's what he would do. And he would go in front of the media and he would speak his nonsense. He would like tweets and stuff. Look, I know he's not going to play for Man United again. I know that what Fabrizio Romano says probably is the truth. But what you do, your employees are Manchester United at the moment. You are employed to Manchester United. You act professionally right until the end. And that's what you do at this great football club. Because we've had far too many times, we've had these itchy thumbs, itchy fingers on the internet, on the social media, in regards to Jadon Sancho and obviously Garnacho. And obviously Rashford hasn't got away with it. He has an itchy mouth. He talks all the time. You know, so what I would say is that professionalism is something that we have to recapture at Man United because the culture at the football club was going that way and we need to go that way. You know, it was going that way, by the way. So what I would say is that, yeah, improvement needs to be made on these things, and getting rid of these players is a massive start. Get rid of these players, and then it clears out all that toxic nature that is rife at this club at the moment and disrupts the young players. Like I say, guys, and I even will say about Luke Shaw and players like that, you know, the injury record, feigning injury, you know, when it suits you. I guarantee you Luke Shaw will be fit for most of the season this season because he will be wanting to play for England. And that is what it is in the World Cup. And guys, that just shows you everything you need to know, tells you everything you need to know about these players, of course, absolutely. We still need a right wing back. I agree with you, Randy. We do. A specialist right wing back. I agree. That's why it's not a 10 out of 10. Revert 7. Garnacho is doing his career more harm than good if he watches in the reserves. Absolutely, Revert 7. If he watches in the reserves, all he's going to do, he's not going to win. He's not going to. He might say to himself, "Well, I'm getting money every week for nothing." Blah blah blah. Well, he's going to be playing in reserves. Actually, I wouldn't want him to play in the reserves. I wouldn't want him to be a bad influence on the young players. But if Garnacho plays in the reserves, it's going to harm his future. It's going to harm his international aspirations. And let's not forget, he's had Argentina caps when he was playing. When he was being professional, he was getting Argentina caps, and he won a Copa America, Copa Libertadores with Argentina, didn't he? You know, that's why I would say, look, at the end of the day, he's going to ruin his career. Man United are going to move on. He's going to ruin his career if he decides to sit down in the reserves. Now, it does depend, of course. It's not all down on Garnacho. It does depend on Chelsea. It does depend on other clubs. Now, I would say to Garnacho, if Chelsea do not come in with the offers, we're going to accept offers from other football clubs. If other football clubs come in with offers, we're going to accept it. And that's what I would say. I would say that to Garnacho. And I say to Garnacho, personally, mate, I feel like you need to go to another football club, no matter who it is, as long as it's a club that, you know what, has a prestige so you can get into the Argentina national team. There has been offers. There has been offers on the table. There has been interest from Atletico Madrid. There has been interest there. So what I would say, guys, is that what I would say to Garnacho is sign for a football club that you're going to play first team football in. Chelsea might not even offer you first team football. That's the thing. And getting in that Argentina national side, as we know, they have incredible players, and it's going to be extremely difficult to get into that Argentinian national side, of course. Big up Revert 7, by the way. Good morning, my friend. Thank you every morning for saying good morning. You absolute legend. Thank you, mate. Hope you're well. And this is the whole thing, isn't it? This is the whole thing. This culture needs to change. And this is what we've been saying for months and months and months. The culture at Manchester United needs to change. This thing needs to stop. All these dramas, all these Netflix series that go on at our football club need to stop. They need to be removed. We got one out. Rashford is one. He's a big one, of course, but we still got a few more there at this football club that have a big influence, and they are a toxic influence on the football club at the moment. So now that we need to remove the players, there's already rumors about Man United, the dressing room, the atmosphere being good, being better, the morale's better. We need to keep that morale. We need to keep that there. I mean, hopefully it improves their performances on the pitch, of course, But, I feel like removing Garnacho is very important, and Antony. And, I would say that, of course. Now, in regards to Baleba, of course, that will improve the atmosphere at Man United tenfold, won't it? It will improve the atmosphere at the Man United fan base. Everyone would be absolutely amazed if we signed Baleba, even though I think it is quite 50-50 at the moment. I'm 50-50. I'm like this, guys. I'm like this. It does depend on Man United's first bid. And when Man United's first bid goes in, when it goes in, we're going to know a lot about this deal. We're going to know a lot about where we're going with this. If Man United come in with a 70 million offer, we know that Brighton are not going to accept it. We know they're just going to dismiss it, of course. If Man United come in with 100 million offer, then we know that Man United mean business, because then Brighton could work with that. Brighton could work with that and say, look, 105, we get it. Or, Personally, in realistic, if I look at things, what Man United are going to do, I think Man United will come in with a 90-something million offer. I'm saying this right now. I think Man United will come in 85, 95 million. Around that mark, Man United will come in with, and Brighton will probably say 100. That's what I think is going to happen with incentives. Dabby says, good morning. Hope you're well. Man United are not pursuing pushovers, sorry. Club has made it clear and should say that they stay that way. These players need to understand that they are bringing themselves down. Absolutely. I think they will eventually. A footballer's career, my man, Dabby says, a footballer's career is very, very short. A footballer's career is short. And, what happens is that when they retire, a lot of footballers I've met a lot of footballers over the years, right? A lot of footballers have told me that they regret not just enjoying their football and not just getting on with the football, because a footballer's career is very, very short. And you know what? A lot of these footballers get depressed, and they have something missing in their life because they don't have Premier League football anymore. And when you're retired from Premier League football or any other football around the world, you realize that's it. Your hype has gone. You're disappeared. You're not irrelevant anymore. You can have your little job on the media, but it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same. And to be honest with you, it is what it is, isn't it, guys? It is what it is. But we'll have to wait and see, guys. Absolutely. Big up, my friend Raquel. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing. Raphael, sorry, not Raquel. Big up, Raphael. Hope you're doing well. How about Donnarumma? Look, Donnarumma at the moment, look, it is a possibility. It's still a possibility. It's not impossible to get Donnarumma if we get Baleba or if Man United manage to sell some players. Look, Man United need to look at it like this. I know that we're playing players in installments. I know that. But what we have to look at it like this. Man United can go next season, next summer, and have so many installment plans going on that we won't be able to buy anyone. And I want people to remember this. Whilst we have so many installment plans going in and out, we won't be able to buy anyone. And now you have to give yourself a little bit of room to maneuver in this game, because if everything goes, I hope it doesn't, but if it goes bad for Mbeumo, Cunha, Sesko, or Baleba, you know what? Man United are going to have to bring in one or two more players, so they can't keep doing these installment plans and building up their debt like this, of course. I think personally, Man United should sign a goalkeeper. I think it should be a priority along with the midfielder. I think we can. And I'm going to put my neck out and say we will. But you never know in this game, because obviously buying Baleba is going to take a lot of time. I mean, it's going to drag on. It's going to drag on to the last day, I feel. Man United are going to come in their first offer. 100% Brighton are not going to accept the first offer, so it's going to go back, going to take a few more days. Man United are going to put another offer in, and then we're going to go from there, isn't it? Round and round we go, as we know, isn't it? And that's what it is, guys. Absolutely. Randy, Antony is a cult hero of Betis. Yeah, he's loved in Betis. He is. I mean, good for them. But I mean, they love him so much, Randy, but they don't want to pay the money for him. You know what I mean? Another shameless team. Shameless bum team, absolutely. My goodness me. We even said any truth in the GUI link, Sal, or Palace just using United's name. Look, I don't think there's any truth in that every verse 7. As I say on this channel, I always spit the truth. Man United are not looking for a defender at the moment. Man United are not looking for a defender at the moment. We've got Licha Martinez, Maguire, De Ligt, Mazraoui, Aiden Heaven, of course, Lenny Yoro. 6 defenders there for 3 positions. Man United are not going to, that's not including Kolungi and Fredrickson, you know, who are coming through the ranks. Man United are not looking for a new defender at the moment. Some may say that we need a defender. Probably do need one, maybe as a backup and experienced defender, because obviously Licha Martinez and his injury record and all that, probably do need one, but I don't think Man United are going to be looking for a defender. Unfortunately, that is why it's not a 10 out of 10 in the window again, you know, at the end of the day. David Sass, Donnarumma can't be signed unless the goalkeeper leaves. Mostly Onana. It's been saying it all week. David Sass, thanks for listening. Good morning, British Bulldog. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again. Big up. Onana will leave if Domino comes in. Yep. Been preaching it on the channel for a long time. Good morning, Sal. Morning, guys. How you doing, Tybog? You legend. Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you in the stream again, my guy. Hope you're feeling good. Hope you're getting ready for the new season, Tybog. Absolutely. Guys, by the way, I will be doing a watch-along for the Super Cup final tomorrow. Make sure you join me for that, guys. It's going to be fun. Little bit of a practice run, of course, guys. And also, I will be doing maybe one Premier League game this weekend. I might do a Premier League game this weekend. Why not? Might be the Liverpool game on Friday. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm going to have to wait and see because I actually feel that Bournemouth might have a chance against Liverpool. I don't know about you, but I feel that Bournemouth might have a chance. I might do it. But play it by ear. Keep your notifications on, guys. Absolutely. Asif, good to see you. All right, right wing back, Dumfries, goalkeeper, Lamens, midfield. But I think Dumfries is leaving, going somewhere else, mate. But yeah, I mean, big fan of Lamens, as we know, of course. Mickey, Sal, Chelsea and Nacho Cheese seem to be tampering anything we could do legally. Yeah, big up. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Mickey. But anyway, big up, Mickey. Onana was very hobbled in training yesterday. How on earth do you dive up when the ball is slightly a meter on the ground? Obbo, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I just don't think he's the goalkeeper for Manchester United. I think he is a liability. I think he's a liability. I think he adds pressure onto the team. He has anxiety onto the team, indecisiveness onto the team. And I think he needs to be moved on. I really do. We can't squeeze him into being a better goalkeeper than he is because he is what he is. He's not going to improve at 28. You know, he's not, no matter what goalkeeper coach you get in, he is what he is now. He's got the bad habits and he can't fix himself. You know, he's a liability. And I think that we really need to get another goalkeeper in there. We really do. But hopefully we do. Done and dusted. Big up, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Big up, Sal. Does the question, will Amram's system work in the Premier League? A silly question. Is it the system the players keep up the great content? It works for Crystal Palace, done and dusted. You know, that's all I would say. It works for Crystal Palace. What I would say is this, right? It is that system. Systems have nothing to do with it. Basically, what Ruben Amorim did over this last friendlies, guys, if you watch the games and you analyze it, he moved into a 4-4-2 a couple of times. He is very, very intelligent, Ruben Amorim. Watch the way the team move. Unfortunately, I think it's the players, mate. 90% is the players. I think the players don't. A lot of the players in our team don't have the IQ and positional discipline to play the system. The system has proven to work. Our Sporting Lisbon, it worked in the Champions League. They smashed up Man City with it 4-1. So at the end of the day, what I would say is that, you know, the system is not the problem. It's not the system. It is the players. A lot of those players just don't have the IQ to play it. They don't have the ball knowledge to play that kind of system. This is why Ruben Amorim wants to bring in players like Baleba, wants to bring in a proper goalkeeper, wants to bring in, obviously, the strikers and the attacking midfielders that we have, of course, which hopefully will suit the system better next year. Big up, done and dusted, my friend. Big up. Ephraim. So we have to be ruthless on players because they are making the club to ransom. Absolutely, we have to be. And this is something that Alex Ferguson did years ago. He was very ruthless. You do not hold Manchester United to ransom. We're bigger than any player. Any player that comes in, we are bigger than. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who they are, of course. Big up, of course. Big up. Exactly, we funded Mount money so they can do a bit like Biker Costado. Absolutely, Kenny. Absolute mugs, a lot of them. I mean, we're the mugs at the end of the day. We're the mugs. We're the mugs for paying it, isn't it? We're the mugs for paying it, and we're the mugs for feeding into their, you know, their price tag and buying it. Garnacho is young enough to put him into the under-21s again, but could see his bad influence affect the under-20s. Exactly, Yale, exactly what I mentioned earlier in the show, that we don't want that toxic attitude around the young players. We have some very good young players. JJ Gabriel is coming through the ranks, a next generational player, of course. We don't want their development hampered by a Garnacho who's going to be toxic and probably be whispering in their ears and things like that. Maybe you should go to another football club. Do you know what I'm saying? Those sort of things can happen, you know. And when young players, when they're young, of course, they generally put it in. They might listen to it and they might go, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Do you know what I mean? Paul, good morning. Hope you're well. We may need the money, but 30 million from Chelsea, stick Garnacho and under 20. Absolutely, I agree with that, Paul. Of course. Obo, Man United could have pictured such horrible scene with the intention. Ruben Amorim should use the picture to persuade the Man United board to act quickly and get Donnarumma. Agree with Abu. Good to see you, mate. I agree with that. Kenny, £50 million and £5 million add-ons for Garnacho, surely. I mean, Man United put a £50 million pound price tag, which is €58 million price tag on Garnacho. Man United will not go lower. That is what Man United want. The only thing that probably Chelsea could do is put like a £45 million offer in for him and give 10 million in incentives or 13 million incentives, something like that. Maybe Man United might. Bigger. What's going on with Dorgu, my friend? Revert 7. Bigger. And Dorgu, yes, the left back. Yeah, and Dorgu. Sorry. Yeah, and we got Dorgu. We got Shaw, Malacia, Dorgu, Diego Leon, of course, on that left back position, guys. So, I don't think that, and Dalot could play there as well. And I don't think that Man United should be like, Man United do need to offload one of those left backs, definitely. Absolutely. Kyle, good to see you. What's going on? Garnacho is worth more than 40 million. I'm sorry, but his attitude, arrogance, and consistency has played a part in this. 50 million or no more is ridiculous. We have to look at the player's ability. Attitude can change, Kyle. Attitude can change. He's a young man. He makes mistakes. I made mistakes at his age. I said stupid things at his age. I've done stupid things at his age. When you're that age, you make mistakes, and he could improve. His attitude might improve. He might learn from his mistakes. And we have to understand that the talent is still inevitable. The talent is still there. He's not 30 million, because if he goes to the championship, he'll score 40 goals. At the end of the day, he is worth a lot more than that. He's worth more than Tyler Dibbling. We cannot sell players for peanuts. He's worth 50+ million because of his potential. He's already a Puskas winner. He's already done things in his career, won things in his career, scored in an FA Cup final. Let's not forget that. He's done things in his career, and I would say that, yeah, he is worth 50 million. And I don't think Man United should be going to 30 million. Absolutely not. That's daylight robbery. Absolutely. Morning, brother. Donnarumma is first priorities. Big up, my friend James. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, guy. Good to see you. He's very important, I think, as well. Quinton Fortune. How you doing, my friend? I hope it's the fortune of 50 million for Garnacho or Chelsea to have to look elsewhere. I agree with that. Absolutely spot on. We don't do this game, guys. Mason Mount was 50 million, mate. Mason Mount was 50 million injury prone, mate. Achieved less than bloody Garnacho. Well, he won a Champions League, but then again, he won the Libertadores, didn't he, Garnacho? Reverb 7, Obi can finish, but his all-round game needs work. I agree with that, Reverb 7. It's absolutely. He's a great finisher. It's good, which is a good sign. James, all United fans, we want Donnarumma. We all want him, I think. Gregory, Chelsea can go pound sand. Big up, Gregory. Big up, my friend. Gregory Burke. Good to see you in the stream, my friend. Absolutely. I feel my feelings exactly, mate. My feelings exactly. Gary Saunders. Garnacho needs to realize he's 20 years old and done nothing. There you go, Gary. Humble. Be humble. There's no substitute for being humble in life. Be humble. Have your feet on the ground. Trust me, it'd be good for you. It'd be good for you. If you're humble, you've got your feet on the ground, and you just keep focusing on your game, you will achieve big things. You achieve big things. Cristiano Ronaldo never came out in the media when he was playing for Man United, banging all those goals for Man United, becoming one of Man United's greatest players of all time. You never saw Cristiano Ronaldo come out and say, I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm this. I'm that. Man United this. Man United that. This, that. Tweet this, tweet that, And yes, Twitter did exist in 2008. Jale, there was a story last night that every big club in Italy are knocking on Rasmus' door. Are we missing something about this player? Look, what I would say that, Jale, football doesn't deal with absolutes. Every league is different. Some players suit different leagues better. And Rasmus Hjlund was very highly rated at Atalanta, as you can tell from the price tag they put on his head. They still see that player. He's not a bad player. He's not a bad player. I just feel like the pressure at Manchester United is astronomical, and it's not helping him. He's playing like there's a fridge on his back, in my opinion, at the moment. And I feel like, he needs a move elsewhere. And Italy's a great move for him. Italy's a slower league. It's a slower league. You'll get more chances like that. You might get more goals and stuff. Let's see what happens. If he goes to AC Milan and tears it up, then we say, yeah, look, he's got it. But if he goes there and he flops, then, it is what it is, isn't it? Maybe he's just not that player. He scored 16 goals in his first season, by the way, at Man United, Was top scorer in the Champions League for a period of time as well. Guys,
He is 50 million. He is 50 million, mate. Kyle, you can say he's not 50 million, but Man United put a 50 million price tag on him, and we're notoriously famous for putting for undervaluing our players. Of course, absolutely, we're notorious for that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, maybe just respond to this tweet. Good morning, Daniel. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you in the stream. Good to see you again. Abundant, what's going on, my friend? Abundant, what's going on, my friend? Abon, what's going on, my friend? Oh, good morning. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you, of course. Thank you for joining. Devandre, Carl, Chelsea gonna wait until deadline day, I'm sure, because they accurate in these low deals. They love a low deal. They love to charge a lot. Onana is not the type of Manchester United goalkeeper. I agree that Sir Jersey Collection. Big up Sir Jersey Collection. Hope you're doing well. I agree. He's not a Manchester United goalkeeper. Absolutely. Revert 7. Right now, I would give him a window 6.5 out of 10. If we get Baleba and Donnarumma, it's an 8 maybe. Revert 7. You're like me. You think like me, mate. You're absolutely right. We haven't got a right wing back. We maybe need one more defender. We need more squad players. We're late. And that's why I would say 8.5. But 8.5 is no mean feat. That is a decent window, of course. Tyboard, the legend, what's going on? Other teams are aware of somehow have money for deals, and we sell unneeded players for half the price. Our prestige is on stake, and we must show this is not Woodward's United anymore. Absolutely, Tyboard. Garnacho is worth 50 million. Don't care what anyone says. He's not a championship player. I don't care about the attitude. I don't care about that. Loads of players have attitude. Loads of players. Even in our history, if you've supported Man United for long as I have, you know what? You remember Eric Cantona. You remember these players. You remember Roy Keane. You remember these attitude players. These players with big attitudes. You know what I mean? I'm not comparing him to them, but they had attitude and it didn't matter. They're still talented. Garnacho's a talented player. And just because you have an agenda against the player, just because you don't like the player, doesn't mean that you undervalue him. It shows a lack of intelligence. Absolutely. Big up, Kays. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Dortmund are burnt from almost being bankrupt and they're stingy now. They have had a lot of money, Revert 7, over the last years. They've been given a lot of money. Bellingham, Mkhitaryan. Well, come on, guys, help me out. Kagawa. You know, that's left their football club, of course. They've sold a lot of players in the years, isn't it? Makuku. What was that other player? There was another player. Oh, yeah. Aubameyang. Bomber Bumper Clock Yang. Of course, guys, remember that, don't we? Maybe we could loan Donnarumma with an obligation to buy in January or maybe next summer. That would leave us money for Baleba and we would still secure World Cup player. Absolute typo. Good option, my friend. Very good point. Very good point. It's true. Man United need to be clever in this market. Look, you don't have to just splash out money and that's it. You know, you can be clever. You can do loan deals. You can say, look, we get an obligation to buy and blah, blah, blah. It does depend on PSG, however. Maybe we can give PSG a big signing on fee in regards to the loan and say that's an obligation to buy with a guarantee sort of thing. That would be great. And that's a good point, Tybo. You know, we could possibly do that. We could. And I would say that it will be a game changer for Man United. Just like Baleba is a game changer for Man United, I think that Donnarumma is a game changer for Man United as well. Big up, Tybo. Al Hassan, what's going on, bro? Hope you're doing well. Please, are we going to achieve in Baleba and Donnarumma signing? Look, what I would say, Al Hassan, I'm 50-50 at the moment. I said it, I'm 50-50. The window is getting very, very close to the end, of course. What I would say is this: Man United are going to make their first bid for Baleba, Carlos Baleba. The first bid will go in. It all depends what that first bid is. If we see the first bid and we know the price, then obviously we're going to get a clear picture of how much Man United can go to. Because obviously, if Man United go too low, we know they're not going to go too high. You know, and obviously, if Brighton, I put a £112 million price tag on Baleba. I'm saying pounds because people get giddy when I say 130 million euros, but 112 million pounds on Baleba's head. You know, are they going to go that low? I think they won't. I think they're probably going to go as low, guys. And 95. 95 with 10 million on add-ons, something like that. We're not gonna go much lower than that. Absolutely. Tyborg, this is why Dortmund. This is why I dislike Dortmund. Sal. They're always pointing their fingers at Bayern, but actually they have the same support in Germany, and they have money, but they are crying all the time. Fair play, Tyborg. Thank you so much. Absolutely spot on from Tyborg there. Absolutely spot on from Tyborg. He said it straight. Bayern Munich, right? Bayern Munich are accused in Germany of stealing players, of taking players from Dortmund and Leverkusen and also basically fishing in the Bundesliga and taking all the best talent. When Dortmund have just as many fans, they actually sell out more in their stadium than Bayern. They actually have a higher attendance most games, right? And they don't spend money, and they always point fingers. As you said, they always point fingers, and they always like trying to stir the pot. They stirred the pot. Let's be real, guys. They stirred the pot with Sancho. When Sancho was there, our family, he's at his home, blah, blah, blah. All those tweets. We remember those tweets, don't we? Absolutely scumbag team. Scumbag team. Shameless. Absolutely shameless. Big up, Tyborg. Absolutely spot on. Ephraim, smash the like and subscribe. Thank you so much, Ephraim, and thank you, everyone, guys. Dabisas, can't happen. Thibaut, PSG want cash. We'll have to wait and see, Dabisas. If Man United can offer cash plus a loan deal, it might be. Because if we offer cash, we could pay less. We don't know that. You don't know that, absolutely. We don't know that by gospel, that what PSG want. They need to get rid of Donnarumma. That's one thing. But, guys, let me stress this very clearly. Many teams want Donnarumma, not just Man United. Other teams want Donnarumma as well. You know, Chelsea want him. Liverpool want him. You know, there are teams out there that want him. There's going to be teams out there who are going to want Donnarumma. There are teams out there. Probably Real Madrid might make a cheeky offer. You know? Who knows? Courtois is getting on. Damn it, good morning. If he ain't going to facilitate a move away, he should rot in reserves. Big up, my friend. Good to see you. Good point. Dabba says, I know, but maybe they would settle with a loan, their obligation to buy. Just maybe, I'm guessing. Everyone is guessing at the moment, Tybo. Everyone is guessing. No one knows if PSG want a cash deal. No one's sitting there with the PSG owner saying, what do you want for Donnarumma? What would you accept? Because you don't know. And that's the thing. Man United could offer cash for Donnarumma and a loan. But I don't think they would do that. Personally, I think they will buy him, obviously, with an installment plan. Again, Man United, the kings of the installment plans, payday loans, things like that. Of course, they absolutely, Man United are the payday loan of the Premier League, of course, guys. But yeah, look, you never know what's going to happen. Of course, football is a funny old game, as we know. Guys, I want to thank everyone, the legends in the chat who've joined me today. Big up, Tybo. Let me read this one. INEOS managed to bring in Baleba and Donnarumma, in my opinion, will change heavily on them purely because they are finally focused on football. I agree with that, Tyborg, and that is what it's all about. That is exactly what it is all about, my bro. Exactly. Much love, brother. I spot on. Because at the end of the day, I'm not here to be negative Sal. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to tell the truth and be very, very partial and flexible in my opinions. Prove me wrong. Like those players, Bruno, all these players. Prove me wrong next season. Show me you can do it. Show me by prediction of Man United's title charge next season is going to come true. Prove me wrong, my friends. Prove me wrong. And that's what I would say, absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. You absolute legends. You absolute diamonds. Big up Fanatic 8, by the way. Have to read out about it. So Hummels, Lewandowski, Kagawa, and the list goes on. Big up, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Guys, Dan Bro, nice comment here. Man United beat Arsenal on Sunday. We can be top of the league before the international break. Come on, Dan Bro. Love the confidence, my friend. Love the confidence. Guys, big up Welsh United. Big up all the new subscribers, guys. Big up. Good to see you. Stiller from Germany would be a decent signing if we can get Baleba. Would have a change for a new goalkeeper too easy. Would have change for a new goalkeeper easy. Good point, Welsh. Good to have you on the stream, guys. And good to have everyone here, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll be back later on for Chatterboxer, of course. And I will be back if anything breaks. You know that. You know the drill, guys. Great chat, as usual. Great chat. Don't always agree. But ultimately, as I always say, it's about Manchester United. We're all on the same ship, by the way, guys. We're all on the same ship. And we're all going to the same destination, which is a successful Manchester United. That's what we want at the end of the day, guys. Everyone, have a great day, why don't you? And I will see you later on for Chatterbox. And look, keep your notifications on. Smash a like on the video. 300 people came in the house today. 300 people. I should, in theory, have 300 likes, right? Not going to happen. But, guys, we do have rival fans on this channel as well, guys. Absolutely. But guys, thank you so much. Have a great day, night, evening, wherever you're in the world. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn, and I'll see you later. Take it easy. Peace.